NoFap is doing all this? I used to fap literally 6 to 8 times a day. Raging fapper.
NoFap for 6 years. How long have you been abstaining from sex for?
I have not had sex in 10 and a half years. I'm into telepathic communication.
Psychic ability?
Supernatural psychic ability. So now I'm doing something I never thought I would learn to do. I am studying to be an actual engineer.
Wow. What's up, guys? It's your boy, Joseph Costello. Today I'm sitting down with a very special guest, somebody I've known from years. I met him downtown, I have to say, 2018. Very special guest, Joseph Smith out of Austin, Texas. Joseph, why are you here today? Why did I bring you on here today? Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
That's a good question. I mean, I'd like to know, what is it about me that you felt that I was like quality enough to invite me to your show?
Yeah, well, when I interviewed you on the street a couple of years ago, I think one of the first times we met, you told me, hey, I haven't had sex in 7 years.
That is correct. And guess what?
Yeah.
I have not had sex in more than 10 years now. 10 and a half years.
It's been more than 10 years?
More than 10 years. I made the 10-year mark.
Wow. How does that feel?
It's an accomplishment.
Yeah, it is.
Was it easy? No. Have I turned down opportunities? Yes.
Yeah.
I've turned down better even when I was having sex. Sorry, no offense. If one of you happens to be one of the people I turned down.
Oh, wow. You're out there. You're out there. What do you want to tell those ladies out there that you turned down? They're watching this right now.
Don't take it personal. I just feel like there's a time and a place. And I'm not one of those guys that's just like a dog that's just gonna, that's fine. Let's just get busy in the back of the car or in the restaurant bathroom or in the club upstairs bathroom. I mean, I'm not one of those guys.
Okay. Let's bring this back down to an introduction. Let's let the viewers know a little bit about your background. Your name's Joseph Smith. Where are you from? Tell me a little bit about your upbringing.
I'm the third great grandson of the infamous John Lafayette Wesley Smith.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was raised in a 2-parent household, and I grew up seeing my parents interact with each other and communicate and play games with each other, entertainment, watch movies, talk, eat dinner together every day.
Where was this? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Texas. Yep, right in the heart of Texas, and 2-parent household. Saw, my father respect my mother respect my father, and father paid all the bills. I was raised, I guess you could say, generations behind most people because of the way that my parents were. My mother never had to work. My father provided for everything, and my mother never had to want for anything.
So 2-parent household.
2-parent household.
2 loving parents.
2 loving parents. They loved each other. They were lawfully married.
And as life,
at your wedding.
And as life moved on, high school, you started growing up a little bit. What type of person were you in high school? Would you describe?
I was innocent. I was a virgin the entire time in high school. I was studying. I was doing the best I could to make good grades. I had some setbacks because my father died when I was young, but by then I pretty much had learned a lot of the basic things that I needed to do. And so I worked. I had a job when I was in high school, and I helped take care of my younger sister. And all I did was I went to school, went to work, and went home. I never had a girlfriend the whole time I was in high school. I bet that sounds familiar to some of you guys out there. I mean, that's becoming a trend now.
Yeah, tell me about. So, did you end up going to college?
So I did go to college.
Okay.
I actually
did you fall
paid for my own college. I worked 2 jobs and paid rent, and I lived on my own.
Is that where you had your first girlfriend?
And first girlfriend I met in college, and I had no clue of exactly what I was doing, but I did the best I could. I knew to pay for the date. I didn't even have a car, so we took the bus, you know.
Would you say that you were in love with this girl at the time?
I did at that time. I would say that I was in lust with this girl. I was infatuated.
Did she set a standard in your life?
She set a standard in my life of the good qualities of women, how I should treat, how I should date a woman, but let me know that she was not a 1950s woman that would stay together with me like my parents stayed together till death.
Wow, that was a lot.
I know. I'm fully rested. I ate good, and I'm ready, man.
Okay, good. So let's talk about this NoFap situation. So you went. You're past 10 years no sex at this point. I'm
past 10 years no sex,
and that would bring you back to 2013.
Yeah.
So that was actually kind of before the movement that we see going on, at least before it got popularized, of the semen retention, the NoFap culture. That kind of came a little bit after. Yeah. So how did you get into that?
Well, so I stopped having sex because the very last girlfriend that I had, and I really want to say her name, but I don't have to because you know who you are. You cheated on me, and, you know, I'm not going to say that I was a perfect boyfriend either, but I didn't cheat. You know, and she kept accusing me of cheating, and that was a red flag. But I stayed until I actually physically caught her cheating, and that was like,
wait. You physically caught her?
I physically caught her cheating with another guy. Oh yeah.
Okay. And do you remember these details? I don't want to bring you through them.
I remember it very well.
Okay.
And it turned me red in a way, not like angry at her, but just like, what am I doing? Why am I continually ignoring these red flags? And what I'm saying could be this. It could also go for women who are in these relationships too. Why am I ignoring the red flags of an unhealthy relationship? This is not healthy. I've been intimate with this woman, and she's been intimate with this guy, and I found out that she'd been intimate with that guy for at least 6 months. So not only was I intimate with her, I was in a sense intimate with him and I found out he was married. So I'm intimate with her, who is intimate with him, who's intimate with his wife. And so I was like, you know what? I'm scared to do this now. Wow. I'm afraid.
Yeah. So did you ever did anything ever happen with that? Did you ever confront him, his wife, any of the other players in this scenario?
Good word of advice for men or women. This is genderly equal. If you catch your partner, spouse, fiance, whatever your gender orientation you are, with another person that is you don't give approval to, you know what? I'll tell you what I did. I was like, hey, how's it going? I hope you two enjoy your time together. It was a pleasure with you. I wish you the best because you're going to need it. And I just calmly walked off, didn't get upset. And I just said, and was it easy? No, but it was easier than being angry.
Did you ever talk to her after that day?
I didn't talk to her for a long time. A long time.
Wow. So get into this NoFap thing. Let's get back into that. How did you get into NoFap? Because you've been going for years at a time.
So it started with the abstaining from actually being intimate with the woman. Now, I want to clarify one thing. I do want to be intimate with the woman. It started with regrouping myself and saying, okay, I need to start all the way over. I need to reconstruct my personality, my heart, there are things I need to work on personally, because when she cheated on me, I was like, okay, I must not be fully updated on all my software, my apps, my game. Something's off. I've done something or not doing something. I mean, I'm not going to get too rated R on here, but I did everything that a woman wants a man to do to a woman, and almost every day, but whatever. So I regrouped. I started over. Was like just gonna work on myself. career, love myself. And then I heard about this NoFap thing. I heard it through some people either online or some videos, and I just thought to myself, yeah, I've already started trying to do that. I didn't know it was called NoFap, and I think this was 2017. Why don't I try harder to do that? So I tried, and I had a couple of relapses, and then I tried again, and then May of 2018, I just quit. I said, that's it. I'm not fapping anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. And it's not easy, because if you're a guy like me and your body's going and you need that, but it takes a lot of self-discipline. And you want to know what the effects were of that?
Yeah, because people talk about you gain like mystical powers. You're able to gain profound wisdom. What did you get? Okay,
so back to the job situation. The first couple days after NoFap, I noticed that I didn't really see much change. In fact, I went through kind of a little bit of depression, maybe a little bit of, because it's not there anymore, and it's kind of you're used to doing it, so it becomes a void. You need to replace that void with something. So I started picking up extra hobbies. After about a week, I noticed my thoughts were more clear, more organized, more creative, more fun, more charisma. Couple weeks go by, and I start noticing that I come up with these ideas like I never thought. Like, wow, where's this? Who is this guy? Like, I can't be that intelligent. And then I was like inventing new things at a job, and the next thing I know, I'm communicating with these higher ups, and they're like respecting me, and at that time I wasn't really making all that much money, and then I started getting along better with women, and I think that that's really important, because when I was fapping, I didn't have as much of a desire to be around women. It was like almost like it was suppressing my desire to go out and
like your vitality as a man.
My vitality, my energy was lower, and my mood was off, and thoughts were all socially awkward, and I'm an Aquarius anyway, so I'm gonna be socially awkward or different or unique regardless. But
so let's get back to the NoFap. So you went how long at first?
So it started in increments, because for me,
what was your longest stretch? Your first stretch?
I'm still going.
Oh, okay. So how long have you been going on NoFap?
I mean, I have not looked at the material, and I haven't done that in almost 6 years now.
Wow.
And hey, your body, your choices. I'm here to tell you, for me, it's not easy. I'm not telling you what you should do.
What are some of the
telling you the
you get?
benefits that I have gained from not fapping.
What are some of the cons you've had? Like some of the downside of like going that long NoFap?
After about 3 weeks of NoFap, I had a lot of pain, in my groin area, a lot of discomfort. Had a lot of restless nights, and I would have these night emissions, which, I mean, that doesn't count, because that's natural biology.
What's an emission? What's a night emission?
A wet dream.
You were having wet dreams?
Yeah, it's a wet dream. Yeah. Then I'd have these weird experiences where I'd go to urinate, and then some of it would come out after the urination. I'm like, what? It's not supposed to do that. It's like, yeah, I guess that's what happens when you're carrying a full load. it's like, and it would hurt so bad. Oh my gosh, man. Woo. But I would tell myself,
Wow.
You can't give in, man. You can't give in.
Does it make you more, like when you think of women, do you find that you think of women more vulgarly when you're NoFap, like more sexualizing them?
I actually less sexualize women more that now that I'm not fapping. When I was fapping, I would sexualize them.
Tell me a
or
little bit
imagine
about that.
them. Oh, she's.
What were you
If
thinking
I could
of?
just get my hands on her, huh?
Is that what you were thinking of?
I would just think to myself, like, wow, like just very, like, I just didn't have any self-discipline. I was like, I'd go up and talk to them. I'd invade their personal boundaries, not like touch them like in a way that's like going to really cause problems. But I'd stand shoulder to shoulder to them. I'd be like, hey, hi, how are you? It's like, I'd be flirting with women, like just random women, and staring too long. And that's what fapping did to me. It made me lose control of my emotions and not have the self-discipline to respect the boundaries of women. And then when I quit fapping, all of that went away. And eventually I got to the point to where I had the self-discipline to, wow, she's real. The natural man is going to be like, oh, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to make it obvious. I'll just be like, just give a very slight hint. You're attractive, but no more trying to like scooch too close and I would try to hold their hands before when I was fapping, I was a fapping man. I mean, man, I'm gonna tell y'all something, dude. I used to fap literally 6 to 8 times a day. I was out of there. I had no self-discipline. I was like raging fapper and super fapper, and it's like the more I did it, the worse I was, the less I knew how to healthily communicate with women. I was goofy, I was clumsy, I was awkward.
Okay, let me bring this back real quick. All right, let's get in control of this podcast real fast.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the cons. We've conquered the cons, right? But now that you've been NoFapping, how is it? We've already discussed it's improved
the cons,
with your life. But I guess like you're also abstaining from sex though.
Yeah, that's like a double. Like that makes it even more of a challenge.
So you've been abstaining from NoFap for 6 years. How long have you been abstaining from sex for?
I have not had sex in 10 and a half years. April of 2013.
Do you remember the day of April?
It was 17th of April. That was the last time.
Wow.
It was, and
so
I don't understand why I remember that.
Listen,
day.
people are going to watch this and they're going to think, well, 2 things are going on. One, he's not capable of finding a woman to have sex with.
And I don't blame him.
Or 2, he's gay.
Well, I don't blame him. Either way, I don't.
And what are you going to say to those people?
You know what I have to say to y'all out there that think that, okay, if you think my game is off or my game is broken or if you think I'm gay, I can't really blame you because it's not natural for a man to go without intimacy with the woman. I honestly am willing to admit that it's not healthy to do it. In some ways it's not. In some ways it is because you have to have standards with who you're intimate with. So in that sense, yes, it's healthy. And part of it is just
what's going on? Like, why aren't you trying to actively have sex as a man?
And that brings up another major topic that we've talked about around about. So I'm nervous to be intimate with a woman. Okay, I'm not gay. I don't blame you if you think I'm gay. Okay, the game thing, well, that's relative to the woman, whether she likes my game or not. But I don't blame anyone who thinks that there's something wrong with my game or something wrong with my social skills or something wrong with my body or whatever. I don't blame you. Mm-hmm. But I'm nervous of getting into a relationship with the woman because
we're gonna hold you there because we're not saying relationship.
Yeah,
we're saying hook up.
Okay,
and there's a difference.
Okay.
There is a difference.
Okay.
Because a lot of guys watching right now have had many women and they've dealt with in their life that has been one night stand, just a weekend type of friend.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Right. How come is there a want to have that?
So minus the relationship thing, just a friends with benefits or a casual hookup or with a total stranger? Exactly.
All of them and above.
Let's start with the total stranger thing. Okay.
Hold on. Go ahead. Chime in.
Well, I'm wondering if you're referring to like performance anxiety.
Oh man, it's like buying a house and rolling all kinds of equity costs and closing costs all into the loan. It's all in there. That's another thing. Because nowadays, to answer your question, a lot of women, they've got some seriously high standards, man.
When it comes to sex?
I mean, when it comes to performance, especially on the first try. Like if no guy, I don't care who he is, it's like less than 1% of men are going to get it right on the first try. Unless they're under the influence of something and it's not really a big...
So is the issue that you don't think you're going to do a good job, or you don't think you're going to get an erection or something like that?
I'm pretty sure, as far as being able to stand up to salute who she is, that's not the problem. It's self-confidence is one of the problems. Am I going to stand up on time?
Okay, so now that we got that out the way and we clarified on that, why aren't you at least hooking up with these girls? Not a relationship where there's no pressure of performance because you don't care at the end of the day. How come that's not going on?
Think of this one very carefully here. So, I'm nervous to approach women because women have so much power, so much energy, and I don't know who I'm getting involved with. I'm nervous if I talk to a woman that I don't know. If I approach a woman, I don't know how she's going to react. There's so many factors. Part of me does have a bit of a self-confidence issue. Like, I don't know how attractive I am to these women. And so I usually am pretty good about reading hints. But I know that just because a woman smiles at me or says hi or carries on a conversation with me doesn't necessarily mean that she wants to go further than that. And the boundaries between men and women are getting blurred more and more in this modern day. That
reasoning would make sense if that was the reasoning to explain why you have gone 3 years without sex. But 10 years, you can't rely on that reasoning for you that you're scared to approach women.
There's other reasons.
What's the big reason here? Because there's a big reason going on. And I feel like you're dancing around it. Just rip it off the Band-Aid and say it how it is. What's going on?
Okay. So, I love me, and my standards have risen quite a bit. Okay. And my standards now are, if I'm going to be intimate with a woman that I'm not in a committed relationship with, I'm nervous about being intimate with any woman because once I do it one time, I'm attached to her. And I almost broke my 10-year streak that same year, 2013, because I was seeing this woman and I really, really liked her a lot. And we were really, like, literally had everything in common. There was no reason why we should have broken up. And she's like, the one thing about you is that you get attached very easily. And that she said, I can't handle that. And I can't have this relationship. And so it just really, I imploded. It's just, I tried explaining, it's like the whole point of being intimate, we're not, it's not like we're one night stand. We're actually friends. We have things in common. I mean, we have everything going for us. We have the same life experiences. why aren't we like in a committed, and she's like, she's got attachment issues, and it's like, it set something off up here, man.
Is that when you kind of got into the red pill, the NoFap, all that?
All of the red pill, the MGTOW.
So this really got, you were introduced to this through a heartbreak, basically.
Basically, yeah. I mean,
that's a common thing for most people that get into that, right?
It is a common thing, and I'm willing to admit that I took it to the extreme, and I probably didn't handle it in the most positive way that I should have, because yes, 10 years is a little not normal. It's not healthy, especially for a man in his prime. And it's just, I feel like there's so many risks involved in being intimate with a woman nowadays that it's like, are the risks even worth it?
Well, what do you think about, okay, let's switch gears a little bit. Are you aware of the Adam 22 situation with his wife and the, what do they call it, corn store? Is that what we say? Corn store?
And not very well versed.
Okay, well, I was just going to throw out some things that are going on in like recent culture that relationship-wise you could speak on, but as far as the red pill community goes, what do you think of people like Andrew Tate? What do you think of Andrew Tate?
Andrew Tate doesn't hold back. What he does is he speaks the truth about how there really isn't true gender equality, and there never has been true gender equality. And because he points out how women have an unfair advantage over men in the dating market, which is another reason why I've been intimacy-less, is because I know that the odds are in the favor of the woman automatically. When I have to pay for the date, I have to pick her up, I have to do this, I have to put on a show, I got to do all of these things. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't have to do nearly the things to impress me that I have to do to impress her. And Andrew Tate points all of this stuff out.
Yes, and there's other figures like that whole community has exploded over the last 3 years. Tons of stars have risen in it, but like, yeah. Do you see yourself as somebody that is completely aligned with the red pill community?
No, I'm not 100%. I am 100% aligned with the red pill telling the truth about how that men have a disadvantage in society, in the workforce, in the housing force, health-wise, mental health-wise, physical health-wise, marriage-wise. But when it comes to women's rights, that's the one thing that I will always stand by, women's rights and women's equality and the treatment of women. Just because a woman lives her life a certain way doesn't give me a right to bash her. So I won't bash these women, but I will agree with the red pill in stating the facts.
Okay. Man, if you look up semen retention or look up NoFap online, there's a lot of stuff. People claim that, once you hit a year, 2 year of NoFap, that you unlock enlightenment. Did you have an experience like that? You did.
Now I'm into telepathic communications. Like,
really?
I the other day I was thinking about my supervisor. Like, I was going to tell him something, and then the next thing I know, he's coming around the corner. He's going to tell me something.
Really?
And it's like all these people that I know, I'll think about them and they'll call or they will text me, or I'll think about them, or they'll be having a difficult time in life, and then I'll hey, are you okay? And then they'll like, oh, I'm having this problem and that problem.
So it's like you almost gain some type of psychic ability?
Supernatural psychic ability and cognitive abilities. So now I'm doing something I never thought I would learn to do.
What's that?
Okay. I am studying to be an actual engineer.
Wow.
Property management, mechanics. It's like, I was never this intelligent before, dude. I couldn't even fix a kitchen sink when I was every day. I couldn't do that. Now it's like, man, yesterday, this woman, and she's an entrepreneur. She works for a very famous woman. which we need to get into that. She walks out. She's tall. She's blonde. She's like just your standard perfect 10, what you would say. I believe that all women are beautiful. No, I don't show favoritisms when it comes to that, but she's your standard perfect 10 woman. And she's like, hey, there you are. Have a good evening. Oh, bye. Thank you. You too. And then she's like, it's really nice seeing you again. And it's like, oh, well, it's great to see you too. And then she's like, hey, I really hope I see you again soon. What? And then she's like waving multiple times the entire time that she's going out the door, and she's walking down the sidewalk, and I'm sitting at the desk at the cubicle, and she's walking, she's like waving and smiling. I'm like, when I was fapping, I never attracted women like that.
What is going on?
And it's like the energy that's in me. It's like these women that work there where I work at, they're all want to talk to me. They all want to say, hey, how's it going? Hey. And the other guys are like jealous of me because they don't even want to talk to them.
What's the science behind that? Like, why are these women, is it a pheromone you're giving
I
off?
wonder if that's what it is, because it's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't work out, okay? I wish I had more time to work out. But I have this energy that's just, like, not like anger energy, but this, it's like a good fury, you know what I mean? Like extra energy where I can just run and not get tired or lift weights and lift an impressive amount of weight without actually practicing it every day.
That is,
and it's like,
so okay.
And it's like the senior engineers and the owners are like, that's a good idea, dude. I didn't think about that. You know what? I'm going to take your idea. And these guys get paid way more money than I do. And it's like, NoFap is doing all this.
Wow.
It's like the other day, here's another example. And here's another example.
Let it out, man. I want to hear the most crazy example, man. You're on the first podcast. You're on the first podcast. We need to hear a crazy example of the last 7 years.
Got plenty.
I need to hear a wild one right now, man, because this is the first one. We owe it to the viewers.
So 3 days ago, I like to take public transportation because I cannot stand the way people drive in this city. Mm-hmm. So my driving abilities have changed. Like, I'm extremely tactily coordinated, very good driving. I don't know. So I don't have the patience. All because of NoFap. Wow. And so I was on the city bus 3 days ago, and I was just like minding my own business, looking around, and there are these two women, very young. Mm-hmm. They look like they were 18 or 19. Mm-hmm. And one of them, I just happened to look, and she's looking at me like, she's going like this, like staring right at me. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, she's just carrying on a conversation with her friend. And I look away, look back, like a whole 10 seconds, look back later. She's still, I'm like, and I look back and I smile like, and she's smiling to see if she's really smiling at me. And she is. Yeah. And it's like, and this, I'm like, and she waves hi back. And it's like, and now it's like I catch women staring at me. What? It's like I'm not that good looking of a guy now. Like, I mean, wow. Not that good looking. And it's,
how long did it take to get to that level of NoFap to where the women are just...
It's like, I noticed a difference after 7 days.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And then when I got to 2 weeks, I would just like, things would just fall into place with the women. Like, I would meet them and we'd get along and we'd socialize and then I went out on a date, not an actual, it's more like a friendship date. Mm-hmm. And I was surprised because she was like, you know, you're a really cool guy, and you know, I missed you. It's nice to see you again. And how about I take you out for lunch? And I'm like, take me out for lunch? Mm-hmm. She's like, yeah. I'll pay. I'm like, order whatever you want. It's like, what? Okay.
Take the floor, Gary.
What do you fill your free time with? How come you don't have time to work out?
Because I'm a workaholic, and I fill my free time with work, because I feel like if I'm working, that's the other thing with NoFap. Before, when I was I was like, oh, I need a day off. I'm gonna stay in bed and I'm gonna fap. I'm gonna stay in bed all day.
And you were getting up to 8 times a day at one point?
I was I was just
what was the weirdest place you had to fulfill your addiction at? Because 8 times a day, you weren't at home at all these times.
I was a sick puppy, man.
Where was it happening?
I would fap in the bathroom at work. I'd fap in the restaurant bathroom. I'd fap in my vehicle. I mean, I was a mess. I was this. Oh my goodness!
Wait. You were fapping in the restroom.
In the bathroom.
What restaurant was this? Tell me, man.
I don't know if we get in trouble for saying this or not, but yeah, McDonald's.
So for all you people that bring
Taco
your family,
Cabana.
you bring your kids, you're on the road with your kids. Oh, you got to pee. Let's pull over, go to the McDonald's. Just remember now, them golden arches mean a different thing when this guy's in them. That is a crazy story, but I feel like it's not the weirdest place. Let's hear the most sinister place you got, buddy. I know you got one deep down there in that noggin. What happened? Where was it?
Oh man, I think that. I guess being at a girlfriend's place, that wasn't the weirdest place, because that's more private.
I'm just thinking about the car,
the swimming pool, maybe.
At the swimming pool.
Of course, it was nighttime.
Okay.
But still.
So what was going through
that's a community area.
Let me ask you something. What was going through your head? Because it was an addiction.
Definitely.
And a lot of people are going through this addiction right now.
Yeah.
And that's why they're watching this at home.
Yeah.
But honestly, what's going through your head? You're in a McDonald's restroom. It's whatever time of the day, and you're wanking one out on the toilet. What's going on? The events leading up to that, where you're like, you drop everything.
I was just like, oh, I need to fap.
And you were watching
the thrill, the endorphins, the adrenaline, the risk. Oh, what if? It just made it more fun, more exciting, more. It's just the danger of.
What were you watching in these bathroom stalls?
Oh, I wouldn't watch anything in there, because then it's audio. I was like, I don't know. I was just like, I don't know. I would have to. Well, I had pictures, of like women that I was seeing or whatever, and I would just. Oh man.
Wow.
Just the adrenaline, the danger, the risk. What if?
What if what? Like what would have been?
What if someone opens the wrong stall? Did I forget to lock the stall? I mean, it was just.
Yeah, man. So what year was this? Were you running wild in Mickey D's?
Oh, this would have been like way back, like in college, like
before the self-checkout.
2011 or 2010. Yeah, it was way back.
That was back before the damn air dryers.
Oh man, do not attempt this at home or on your own free time. This is my advice. So
tell me more about the telepathic, mystical powers you've attained, enlightenment. Are you religious?
I do believe in a higher power. A lot of people say God. I address him as Heavenly Father. And I do believe in the Trinity, the Heavenly Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost. And I don't enforce my religious beliefs off on other people, and I don't tell people what to do with their bodies, but,
Okay, because there's like, I don't know if you knew about this, but there was a certain sect of early Christianity that practiced NoFap before it was NoFap. They were called the Rosicrucians.
That's I've heard of that.
They basically sought enlightenment by abstaining from Sex.
Yeah, sex, the body, you're harnessing that energy. Yeah. Like that reminds me of your question. Before when I was no boundaries, you know, I need a day off. I'd come to work late because I thought that fapping was that important that I didn't mind coming to work late and risking my job.
Your self-will was out the window. Out of there.
Yeah, my self-worth, my self-confidence, my self-esteem was whoop. And when I stopped fapping, all that free time, what free time I had, instead of fapping, I was like, I'm going to try to fix something. I'm going to try to build something. You know what? I'm going to try to make a shirt. You know what? I'm going to try to learn something really difficult. You know, and all that energy, harnessing that energy into different things.
So you said you're waiting for the right woman in a lot of senses, even for a hookup. You have standards that need to be met. Let's talk about what the standards are physically for a woman.
Do you mind repeating that question?
Sure. So you said earlier, and when you wanted to hook up with a woman, you have standards now, and they were higher than before because of the NoFap. Everything's risen as far as like your expectations. And I'm basically just asking, what do you need out of a woman? What does she need to be having going on in her life for you to get involved with her?
I would like to be with a woman in order for me to be intimate with her, to understand the power of human intimacy. Like for me, and everybody's different, but for me, that's the biggest way to express love and gratitude and appreciation towards another human being. And it's a very powerful emotion. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Let me start over. You can cut that part out.
No, I want you to tell me about her body. Like, we understand you want her to be in love. We understand that.
Yeah.
But what does she need to look like?
So, she's got to for me to be with a woman, I'm really not that picky. I have reasonable standards. If she's 15, 20 pounds overweight, you know, no biggie. I'm not perfect. As long as she's not like Shamu, as long as she's not 120 pounds overweight, or if she is very overweight, is she trying to improve herself? I will date a woman who's really overweight if she's trying to improve herself.
How big we talking? Because you said really overweight. Now, what's your cutoff? 350, 5 feet?
I think that's.
You willing to go that far?
If she is putting forth an effort to be a better whoever she is, if she's making the effort, and if she's 300 pounds, 350, but she is doing her part to improve, I would still date her. I'd still walk around in public with her.
What about kids? If she has kids, what are you doing in that situation, man?
That's a really tough call because
she hits the standards, but she has 3 kids.
She has 3 kids, and that would make it very difficult. I'll tread lightly because every single mother has a story.
No, you can't tread lightly on this podcast.
I prefer not to date a woman with any children, and it's nothing against her. It's just that, oh man, I want undivided attention. But there are certain situations when I would say, yeah, she's not at fault. It's not her. I don't know how to explain that. That's a tough one there.
Gary, you want to chime in? You got any more questions?
Maybe he could help me.
The only other question I had was, how deep down the rabbit hole were you going with the illicit content that you were watching? If you're, masturbating 8 times a day.
They say porn, or I can't say that word. Porn.
Yeah.
It constantly, when you get addicted to it, it constantly gets filthier and filthier.
Oh, it gets worse and worse, yeah.
And what was some of the stuff you were consuming, if you could put in blatant terms, or not in blatant terms, but what kind of stuff were you witnessing?
The women that I were with, they allowed me to, or they would send me their little nudies, their little selfies.
Yeah.
And I would it would be about them. It was the places that I was doing it, the frequency of the fapping.
So it wasn't really.
You weren't really watching
videos.
No. Well,
unless
they were videos that we made.
Okay.
That we made together, yeah.
What kind of videos were you making?
that me and them made together. They were of us being, horseback riding and just being on the trail.
So, so 6 to 8 times a day.
Yeah, how'd you find the time to even do that?
Yeah, it's like I mean, I would literally do it, finish, 2 hours later, do it again.
You never thought about getting a prostitute during these times?
Finish. The thought crossed my mind.
Have you ever done that?
I've not done that.
Would you ever?
No, I won't do it. No, maybe back then I would have done it, but back then I had girlfriends, so it wasn't necessary.
It's been 10 years since you've been with a woman. When is the deadline? When are you saying enough is enough? I'm doing it.
I've been saying that for the last 10 years. It's just that.
So you've been wanting to.
I need the spark between me and her. There's got to be the spark.
I think you're waiting on something that you've perfected in your mind but might not exist.
I know. I'm willing to admit that I probably do have some unrealistic expectations here, and I'm not going to blame it all on the women.
So for the
I do take some accountability.
So if we get 10,000 likes on this video in the first 7 days, we got to do another one where we bring you to a strip club and we try to get you laid. Only if we get 10,000 likes on this video in the first week. Is that okay? Would you be okay with that?
I'd be a little bit of anxiety, but I think I'd be okay with it. Yeah.
Okay. What do you think, Gary? Is that content?
I think that's a great idea.
I think so.
That would be a good.
Because no matter what happens, it's content. You know.
Yeah.
And also, it also puts you in a brand new situation. You get to talk to. I think what would be great for you is you talking to these strippers.
They're the easiest women to talk to in the world.
Oh, I know.
And you'll learn a lot about their point of view when it comes to women, and you might be able to bridge some of those gaps that you have with them. I mean, nobody's perfect with women.
Yeah, well, speaking of not being perfect with women, it just reminds me that question you asked me earlier about why I'm nervous about being intimate or whatever. I'm, like I've kind of hinted to, I don't want to let a woman down, and I don't want to let myself down, and I want to feel confident about myself, and I want her to feel confident in me, and it just, knowing that she's turned on by me turns me on. That's what really attracts me to women, not necessarily whether they're 300 pounds or they're a perfect 10. It's if she's turned on to me or by me, I'm turned on.
Okay.
And I know that's weird, but it's just.
If there's a girl watching this right now, which there is, tons of adult women, tons of young ladies in college, they might be watching this and they might be saying, hey, I want to talk to this guy. How can they get in contact with you?
We'll have to set that up somehow.
I mean, there's not an Instagram. There's not a Twitter. There's not a Facebook page. There's not an email. I mean,
maybe the Stay Sloppy podcast can be the middleman for him.
Maybe.
I think we're gonna have to get you in that strip club once we get 10,000 likes on this video.
You'll have to let me know if someone, or if I see the video and someone's trying to get in touch with me. We'll work that out.
Well, Gary, you know a couple girls up that alley, right?
I know a lot of girls in that industry.
A lot of girls in that alley.
Yeah, we can hook you up, man.
We might be able to do this.
But you pull the thread on that anxiety thing. You're concerned that you potentially won't satisfy the woman.
And the reason why I'm nervous about that I might not satisfy her is because I know nowadays most women are not virgins. Some have multiple body counts, say this respectfully, their body, their choice. Some have been with different men. Mm-hmm. And I know that I have mean competition. So it's like, what if I'm not as good as that guy?
Why don't you just pop a Blue Chew or something? You know, call it a day.
And that's part of why I want to get you with one of these 6th Street gremlins we can just pull off the street, because it doesn't matter if you perform well, because who cares what they think?
Yeah, and also
but think about it.
I know what you
it's
mean.
what happened in the 40-Year-Old Virgin, the movie. You got to go hang out with the gremlins, get your performance up, and then you go after the love of your life. Because if you go after the love of your life and you can't even do 1 pump, 2 pump, 3 pump, you're done.
Yeah,
So I think you need to be putting in some heavy sparring in with some of these ladies, and not be worried about
what
they
think, right?
Yeah,
half of them, they don't know what they're doing either. They just lay there like, do something. Man. So
yeah, and you'd be surprised that some of those ladies that work in the nightclubs, they got pretty high body counts, but they're the least judgmental women you would ever meet. Because they wear
everything on their sleeve.
They've already seen it all.
They've seen it all.
They're not going to judge you if that's what you're worried about.
I'm being honest. I'm showing my weakness.
It's actually
here that I do something I do.
Those girls put themselves quite literally under the spotlight on the stage, so they're super easy to talk to, and I think you could learn a lot from a female perspective by talking to them, because if you talk to anybody else, their opinion might be biased or clouded. They have no reason to lie. I mean,
some of the coolest, amazing women that I've ever met are either dancers, prostitutes, street workers of different kinds, escorts, and strippers, and even some single mothers in it.
It's because it feels like you're talking to your friend.
Yeah,
it's because their profession it goes hand in hand with hard hats. You're like, okay, we're both homies. You putting in work, bro? Okay, how many laps you been on? I've been on 5. Okay, I'm about to go do this. All right, I'll meet up with you in a minute. You dap up. But
there's some that I know that I've never done anything like that with, and they treat me like.
I think okay. So how old are you?
So I'm 30 something.
You don't want to say your age?
I'm getting up there.
Okay.
Getting close to 40.
Okay. How's that feel?
And that is another reason why I'm a little nervous, because a man over the age of 27, 28, it's just kind of, this guy's older and, a couple more years and he might not be able to perform the way that I want him to. And
I don't think there's this discussion going amongst women about performance like you think there is. I think online, when you watch a lot of content online, just even YouTube short content, the Redpill community, they love to ask women that question. Does size matter? Does all these things matter? Because it gets views. But in actuality, I don't know. I don't hear women talking about performance like that. Do you, Gary?
No, and I've had plenty of situations where I've drank way too much and just threw limp dick at a girl.
Yeah, it does,
and I'm
as long as the performance is not unbelievably awful, then there's nothing really to go on about.
You know what I'm saying?
Even if you're just halfway horizontal, you can still please a woman.
Well, you got to think these girls that are coming off these party buses and going down to 6th Street, right? It's a revolving door. Their ancestors have made the same mistakes before them on the same street, right? Those bars been there since the 1800s. Yeah. So their moms, grandmas, meemaw, peepaw, they all been out there. And what happened though is back then they were having cocktails. Yeah. And they would have found their husband out there and rode off in a damn chariot to the sunset. Now, no. Get rid of the cocktails. You're doing shots, and you're going to find a boy tonight, and you're going to find the same one the next night, and then a different one next week, and then next year you're going to be in the same club doing the same thing with a different guy. And before you know it, the body count's so high, and I'm relaying it to say it to this. The expectation of quality sex has gone down because the body counts have gone up.
Oh, really?
Right. And if anything, I think the women that have the higher body counts end up becoming more self-conscious of themselves than they are of the guy that they're with.
They start eroding. Like you start being around and you're like, why is this person erosive? He's erosive on me. And it's because they have that aura, like they're just like all their regrets are coming out of their body and you just see them. You never get that?
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Anyway,
I had an experience one time where I met this woman on 6th Street, and we exchanged numbers, and we hung out a few times, and then we went horseback riding. And
I need you to just get rid of the horseback thing. Let it out. What is that?
We had sex. And,
when was this?
Oh, this was like 2012. It was before.
So
my
this
last
was a
episode.
random hookup.
Well, it wasn't quite random because I got her number and we talked, and I went to her parents' house and I met her parents, and then
How old was she, buddy?
Wait, why'd you go to her parents' house first?
Oh, she wanted me to come over, but we didn't do anything there.
She wanted you to meet her parents?
Yep. She was 20.
On the first date?
Wow.
And I took that as a real compliment. I was
Well,
like, wow,
yeah, in
I'm
a
doing
way,
something good.
What was her ethnicity?
She was like a mixture of things, like black, white, and some other things, like all sorts of mixed. And
Some things
she had came from a very wealthy family.
Okay.
Like they owned $1 million house, and they were very successful.
Wow.
And
What's
so I
her
took
name?
that
You
as
might
a
need to call her back right now, buddy. I
And
might be the one that got away.
And her name was Brenda.
Yeah, Brenda
So-
what? Let's go ahead and dig about it a little bit harder.
So I don't remember her last
You
name.
could think, but that $1 million home sounds really
But-
good right now, isn't it?
But yeah, but everything was going well until she told me that I wasn't big enough. And I was like, what?
Wow.
Dude, I'm over the 50 percentile, okay?
You're well endowed.
So I'm not like, it's not anything
How
to
did she
brag
tell you
about.
that? Did she tell you that during sex?
She's like, I can't believe it. Okay, you're tall. Right after. She's like, you're tall, so you're supposed to be bigger. And I'm like, and then that's when I looked at her and I said, so the guy that you either are seeing or have recently seen is bigger than me, and you're used to that guy. But you and him or he's a little taller than you, or you're about the same height. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, and so that really shot me down. Like, it really put my self-esteem way down there.
So you've had a couple of instances with women sort of, I guess,
Throwing shade.
Yeah.
traumatizing
And
you in
it's
a
like,
sense.
It made me think, woo, it's like, wow. And this woman, she was a size J.
The hell is that?
The J. I mean, now if a woman is a C plus,
C, D, E, F.
it's like, I never even heard of a size J.
Now let me ask you this: size J, was she one of these women that's 350 pounds?
Nope. And she was 20 years old.
Size
I
J.
said, a size J?
Those can't be real.
I was like, that can't be real.
Did
That
she have a
can't
learning
be-
disability or something?
No. Oh, no. She was in college. She was going to the
I'm
University
thinking
of
she
Texas.
don't know the alphabet. She skipped a couple of letters.
She was...
No, that's
If I find that, if might still have a picture of her. But yeah. She...
wow.
Man.
So, man, I don't even know. I feel like we've covered everything. What do you think, Gary? How long are we at right now?
We're right around an hour.
Yeah, we should.
But I think
probably-
we started a little late, so this might be a little shorter than an hour.
Okay. Any other things you want to throw out there? Now's the time to get them all the things you've been waiting on. I know.
Do
we've been
you
talking
think you're
about,
traumatized by women?
I think that I'm more self-conscious about women, and maybe, I don't know, maybe not quite traumatized, but more cautious,
more cautious?
At the time that she told me that, I felt like, oh, that's offensive. Like, well, I didn't show it, but now I'm like, oh, at least she was honest. So I appreciated the honesty, and I
It's
learned
still
something
kind of
from it.
Still kind of a messed up thing to say to somebody, especially that you're dating. I mean, that's awkward.
It
you've
is.
already.
I mean,
Was that the first time y'all had gotten together intimately?
It was the third time that we had been intimate, actually. And
you would think after the first, like, what you see is what you get.
I did everything that
It's
a
not
man
gonna get
could do
bigger.
to a woman with her.
What did you do to her, man?
I went through the front. I went to the basement.
Wow.
And I gave full body massage.
What?
And I did everything. I even gave her a massage while I was in the basement. If you know what I mean.
I might have to break down that parable later.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, man, this one's crazy. They're gonna love this.
It was like maybe it's I tried to reason with her, it's like maybe it's just the position that we're in. Maybe it's an awkward, or maybe it's just because we haven't known each other for a full 6 months, or I don't know. I mean, it was just, every woman's got their standards. Some women want a more endowed man than another man.
What's going on?
Okay.
'Cause when I see you downtown, sometimes you're out there hanging out, meeting up people. You might be filming something. But a lot of times it seems like you're people watching, you're observing what's going on. What have you gathered? You're 37 years old. You're down there. You're seeing the 18 to 27-year-old crowd. How has it changed? Are people dating anymore? What does the culture look like?
Oh, good question. We're really going to go now. So when I was in college, when I was 19, 20 years old, I was down on, in the bar district. Men and women talk to each other a lot more. And you know what? You don't see this anymore. Women would actually come up and approach men regularly.
What years were this for the people watching?
This was 2007?
Around that
8,
era?
9? Okay. Until about 2012, 13. Seemed like 2013, 14, women stopped approaching men.
Why?
And I wonder if that's when the Me Too movement started. I don't know. But back then, women would approach men. Had a lot of women approach me.
And what's going on now?
And now then we went through a phase where the women stopped approaching the men and the men were doing all the approaching and the catcalling. And now men are starting to back off. And now it's like no one's approaching anyone anymore.
Everybody's gay now.
Yeah, it's either they're gay or they're incel or they're insecure like me or scared or just like, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe the tension that I see between men and women in the bar district now. It's just
everybody hates each other now.
It's like there's just I see the men talking about the women like they're pointing at them, talking about them, and the women are just like shrugging off the guys. If one guy ever tries to talk to her, they're like, and then I see another thing. It's like men and women are in separate groups now. Like now it's just all guys, all girls when they go out together. Or there might be 5 or 6 women and one guy, or there might be, but usually it's like 4, 5, 6, 7 guys and 2 chicks. And so now you have all these guys in groups with like 2 or 3 women. I wouldn't want to approach one of those women like that when they're like literally surrounded with all these bodyguards of guys. And we got some big guys in Austin. And I think a lot of people are just, they're afraid. There's narcissism. There's sociopathic personality views towards the other gender. And it just seems like it's not normal for men and women to approach each other in real life anymore like it was 14, 15 years ago.
So you said that was around 2007?
7, yeah.
That's when the first smartphone came out, the first iPhone.
No way. That is when the first
That's when it started to change. I noticed that.
Apps is what really made the leap forward. Because
in middle school and high school, girls would approach the boys. The girls didn't. The guys didn't approach the girls. The girls approached the boys. It was completely different.
Have you turned on the radio lately?
Yeah.
What is going on? The top songs I hear are just women rapping like men.
It's the masculinization of women.
I mean, literally, like I'm listening and it's like, it's the woman rapping about having sex with a man.
Like Sexy Red.
And she's like rapping and her voice is like all deep and dark. And I'm like, this is where we're at.
It's
like this is where we're at.
That,
like you're in your car now and you're listening to somebody on the radio.
Yeah.
And it's a woman talking like a man, sounding like a man, rapping like a man about what you would call men activities.
Yeah.
And it has never been so clear. It's just like, wow, now I'm the listener.
I know. It's like, I feel like a lot of women feel like that men don't approach them anymore. And they feel like that men are not making the moves anymore because we're not after Me Too and everything else. You know, men are backing away.
Are men scared more than ever?
And men are more afraid to approach women.
Uh-huh.
You know, a lot chivalry is gone. Chivalry has been criminalized.
So
so a lot of women feel the need to take charge.
At one point, would you describe yourself as an incel before?
I've had my incel moments.
Can you describe what those were?
And my incel moment was like, I'm not going to approach a woman. I'm not going to do it. Like,
did you ever?
I had guys dare me, go talk to those women. No, I'm not going to do that. No, that would make me not look like a man. No, that's just, no, I'm too good to do that. Why? They're not good enough, you know, or like, I don't want a girlfriend. I don't want a woman. I don't need a woman. Just this, they're just not positive thinking, you know.
You ever get upset?
I haven't been upset in a while. I quit doing that. I've learned to see women as they are, who they are, individually. Every woman's different, and working in a woman entrepreneur environment has definitely taught me a lot.
What do you think about this rise of cuckoldery? A couple of years ago, you brought that term up, and it was new to me when you brought that up. You brought that up 5 years ago. You said, I don't like to date women right now because most of them got 3 or 4 boyfriends, and I'm not into cuckolding.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of like popular. Like,
now
you're seeing people
like
people are into this.
There's a woman shortage.
Like Adam 22.
I mean, literally.
But there is a woman shortage.
There's a woman shortage. I don't know. I really think there's an actual woman shortage and an artificial woman shortage.
But why are men giving into this weird thing now? What's going on?
It's like men just have got to learn this tongue twister here. It's like, look, okay, guys, you're sharing with another man, and you're okay with that. And
well, that guy shared his wife,
and it's like
he shared his wife because they were porn stars. They worked together, corn stars. They worked together, and he said, "Hey, she's gonna make a lot of money. You're gonna get with this big black porn star dude. What's his name?
Jason Love.
Jason Love.
Yeah.
He's famous. Everybody knows this guy.
Yeah.
And you know, he porked down his wife, sent the wife back to the husband, and he sits there and he says, you know, it affected me at first, but I don't care now. She makes a lot of money. And the internet started roasting him. I mean, would you ever, for the right amount of money, subject your wife to something like that?
If I were a married man, I would not do that to my wife.
What do you think of that? Because now he's saying, hey, this made a lot of money. Now me and him are going to do you together. What he said. I mean, what do you think of that type of stuff?
It's their body, their choice. I mean, you know, I don't think excuse me. I don't think less of people who live their lives like that. It's just that it's very, very, very monetary cuckolding. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, you're sharing, you don't have any privacy, and there's no privacy like cuckolding. I mean, I don't know how else to explain that.
Gary, you want to take it away here? I think we covered all bases, man. The 7 pillars. We went through the NoFap. We went through the abstaining of sexual things. I mean, at this point, I'm waiting on your 7th chakra to open up. Have you felt like you're on the brink of a spiritual enlightenment that is past the telepathic communications, past the metaphysical realms? Is there something? Do you feel like you sometimes speak to higher beings on this path?
I mean, I definitely feel like there's a higher Good question.
Yeah.
I am able to communicate with women on a much higher level now than I ever could before. I'm able to recognize certain signs, certain body languages, certain emotions about these women that I couldn't have, that I didn't have before. Because, women do communicate on a much higher frequency than men do. They do.
Talk about that.
I will
Talk
give
about
them
that.
credit on that.
But through their bodies?
It's like a higher wavelength of energy through their minds and their bodies and their emotions. And because I'm not fapping anymore, I'm able to better communicate with these women. And it's like,
wow.
I have better relations, better communications. A lot of times when I sit on public transportation, these women, they will get on the bus and I don't even know them and they will snuggle up to me.
What?
Yep.
Are you serious? Random people on the bus.
The women, yeah.
What do you mean snuggle up, Joseph? What does this mean?
There was a woman and
Was she cold?
The bus company will not let me see the video. I asked them for it.
Really?
She was sitting 5 or 6 seats ahead of me.
Yes.
And I smiled at her because she looked at me.
Yeah.
So I smiled, friendly smile. But she kept looking back and smiling.
Show us how you.
She was like 24.
Show the camera how you
20s.
smiled, though. Show the camera how you smiled, because they want to know.
I think it was just like nothing fancy, just a grin.
Yeah.
And just like a professional grin. I'll say.
Right.
And she looked back and she smiled back and she kept smiling, and I was sitting behind her, so she had to turn to face me.
Yeah.
She got up and moved 2 seats diagonal back and smiled at me. And I smiled again, being polite. She moved 2 more seats back diagonally this way and smiled. Now she's close 2 seats ahead of me now.
Yeah.
And then she gets up and moves again and sits right next to me.
What?
And there's only like 4 people on the bus. And she said hi. And I said hi back.
It's like you're in heat.
And she snuggled.
These girls are just fine. They're scenting you out.
It's like they're just...
What the heck is going on?
It's like women... That's why I'm no longer doing the incel thing. Because I realized that, no, women are good. And I've always respected women, always loved them, adore them. I've always seen them as equal.
Wait, but when y'all were snuggling, what happened?
I got rid of the whole incel thing, and it's like, because of my thought process has changed due to NoFap and positive thinking, I'm drawing these women with just maybe a frequency that I have now I didn't have before, that I wasn't aware of, and now I'm more on their level. And if that's what women mean when they say that men need to get on their level, then okay, I give it to them on that.
But what happened when she's snuggling you? Like, did you get her phone number? Did you?
I didn't ask for her number or anything, because there was a guy that saw the whole thing, and he sat right there, right across from her, and tried to talk to her, and she wouldn't even talk to him. And that's why I didn't ask for the number, because I didn't want him to get it. And it was my stop soon, so it was.
So, and you tried to get the video footage of this?
of the incident on the bus, and they wouldn't give it to me. Those
but
cameras are always recording on the Capital Metro public transportation.
So, but why were you trying to get the footage?
Because I couldn't. I was like, I need to see this.
You weren't getting that for the next McDonald's stop, were you? Joseph.
It's like I'd already had quit by then.
I'm just kidding.
I know. This was in 2020, I think.
I saw them golden arches, huh?
Man, dude, it's just blown away. It's like,
all right, guys. Thank you guys for watching so much. This was the first one. If you want to see more of these, please give the video a like. If we get 10,000 likes, we're bringing him to the strip club. We're going to bring Gary along. Special shout out to Gary Foss. Link in the bio. He helped me produce this here today. Joseph, where can they follow you? You have a YouTube channel. Tell them a little bit more about it.
Oh, I'm still working on that, but if you want to follow me, follow this guy, because I'm gonna be with this guy, and we're gonna do more videos together.
All right. And if you do want to see some of his stuff or learn a little bit more about him, I'll put his link in the bio. Cool. And yeah, man, thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
That was fun. We got a lot. We got a lot off your chest.
Yeah, go ahead and post it, man. And you got my permission.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Perfect.